Our next example demonstrates how basic imbalanced dialogue can even help solve double-edged complicated positions. This position is Nisipinu versus Milov, Warsaw 2005, white to move. The position is quite sharp. White could focus on thoughts of the potentially weak pawns on a6, c5, e4, f2, and h2, but he knows from experience that such a dynamic position calls for a dynamic solution. We will discuss statics versus dynamics in part 6. Several things must have caught White's eye. The knight is pinned. If the bishop wasn't on h6, queen h8 check would win. If queen f6 was possible, that would win the knight. And if d5, d6 could be played, that would open the a2, g8 diagonal for White's light-squared bishop, a fact that might well increase the power of an attack against Black's king. If we look for a move that addresses all of these factors, it would be bishop f4. One bishop f4, but that loses to queen takes f4. Queen h8 check, king e7, queen takes g7, queen takes f2 check, and the rook hangs. So bishop f4 would be ideal if it couldn't be taken. Many players would just give up on it and play something like bishop g5, which also embraces some of the points we discussed. One king g8 allows White to unleash the passed pawn by bishop e7. And queen h2 instead of king g8 loses outright to queen takes h2, bishop takes h2, rook h1, when a retreat by Black's bishop allows a landing on h8. Mate. Had to say that rhyme. Thus, after one bishop g5, Black pretty much has to block the h-file with knight h5. When queen takes e4 is obviously good for White, but one gets the impression that he should have been able to do much better. In the game, White knew that bishop f4 was ideal but not immediately possible. But instead of saying I can't, he went out of his way to find a move that would make bishop f4 a reality. Rook g4 exclamation point, winning. Bishop f4 is threatened and Black has no good way to deal with it. Queen takes h2. Discouraged, Black goes down right away. However, there wasn't a defense. Queen to b6 to get out of the way of the bishop f4 loses to both d6, and here queen takes d6 is one line. The other line is bishop takes d6, in which case queen f6 is winning because there's no defense for the knight. So queen takes d6, bishop f4, and let's say after queen to d7, I think queen h8 and queen takes g7. Wait. Yeah, this was the line I'd looked at. So here, takes here, and check is winning. Okay, so also winning for White in this position is rook takes e4. Now after king g8, d6, queen takes d6, bishop f4. And let's say after move like this, bishop takes c7, and rook here looks pretty strong. So let's say bishop takes d6 is also losing to queen f6 with a double attack. Perhaps king g8 was best, but then bishop f4, queen d7, bishop takes c7, queen takes c7, rook takes d6, g6 is pretty grim because of the discovered check. Okay, so after the main move we look at, which is queen takes h2, queen f6 is winning. 1-0. Black had no desire to see bishop e5, bishop takes g7, or queen takes h6, d6 with a double attack. There will be much more on this kind of I want to do it and I will find a way mentality in Part 4, Psychological Meanderings. You now know what an imbalance is. You know that imbalances can help you figure out what's going on in most positions. And you know that achieving a firm understanding of each individual imbalance will catapult you past the players that you consider to be your equals. If you're ready to dedicate yourself to the study of this book, if you're ready to immerse yourself in new and illuminating concepts, then head for the next chapter and begin an exciting new journey of chess discovery. In summary, to break down the different imbalances, there are superior minor piece, pawn structure, space, material, control of a key file, control of a whole/weak square, lead in development, initiative, though I'll usually refer to it as pushing your own agenda, king safety, statics versus dynamics. And to summarize some other points, an imbalance is any significant difference in the two respective positions. If you want to be successful, you have to base your moves and plans on the specific imbalance-oriented criteria that exist in the given position, not on your mood, tastes, and/or fears. Imbalances act as a roadmap that shows each side what to do. Imbalance consciousness is a state where the use of imbalances becomes a natural and often unconscious process. I think what you have to do is kind of, a lot of this stuff may sound confusing, but once you really immerse yourself in these examples, you'll really integrate this type of approach into your thinking. Imbalances are the doorway to planning. The imbalances alone will lead you to the right moves or move in most positions, or even help you create a detailed plan. The initiative is the physical manifestation of a psychological battle. Both sides champion their view of things in the hope that the opponent will have to eventually forgo their own plans and react to yours. Thus, I usually refer to it as pushing your own agenda. A chess engine can be very useful, but it can also turn into a crutch that actually prevents you from improving. The Armageddon Discourse is a basic thinking stage where you look for traps, threats, and tactical themes. This is usually done subconsciously by players 1800 and up. However, if you are lower rated, are prone to blunders, or feel that you have serious tactical issues, then it's a good idea to take a few moments to get on top of this stuff. End of part 1.